Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Thaneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the Guyanese legislators today, his 14th speech in a foreign parliament. Russia fires intercontinental ballistic missile at Ukraine for the first time, claims Kyiv. And India stands for rule-based international order for peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific, says Rajat Singh at the ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting. Plus, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a special session of the Guyanese Parliament today, marking yet another significant moment in his global diplomatic outreach. This will be the 14th occasion when Prime Minister Modi will speak on behalf of the people of India in the Parliament of foreign nations. He holds the distinction of being the Indian Prime Minister with the highest number of addresses to foreign parliaments. His addresses, which transcend continents, are a testament to India's growing influence on the global stage. Prime Minister Modi's 14 addresses to foreign parliaments are double the number of addresses by Manmohan Singh, who had delivered 7 such addresses. Indira Gandhi had addressed foreign legislators 4 times, while Jawaharlal Nehru did it 3 times. Rajiv Gandhi and Atal Bihari Vajpayee delivered 2 such addresses, while Morarji Desai and PV Narasimha Rao addressed foreign parliaments only once. Prime Minister Modi has delivered speeches in legislative chambers across the world, from the Americas to Europe, Africa, Australia and Asia. In 2014, Prime Minister addressed the parliaments of Australia and Fiji. In Asia, PM has addressed the parliament of joint session of the Bhutanese Parliament and Nepal Constituent Assembly in the same year. In 2015, Prime Minister addressed the British Parliament, National Assembly of Mauritius and parliaments of Sri Lanka, Mongolia and Afghanistan. Prime Minister Modi has addressed the joint session of the US Congress twice, in 2016 and then again in 2023. In 2015 in Africa, Prime Minister addressed the Parliament of Uganda in 2018 and Parliament of Maldives in 2019. Guyana has conferred its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In a ceremony at the State House today, Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, conferred upon India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi the highest national award of Guyana, the Order of Excellence. The award was conferred for Prime Minister Modi's visionary statesmanship, for championing the rights of developing countries on the global stage, for exceptional service to the global community and for his commitment to strengthening India-Guyana ties.
The greatest test of any human being, the greatest test of any member of the human family, is to give of their very little when they are most in need. And Prime Minister Modi has fulfilled this test with distinction during the COVID-19 pandemic, when they gifted this region 500,000 vaccines, when India itself was rallying to meet their own needs.
While accepting the award, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the honour to 1.4 billion people of India and to the deep-rooted historical ties between the people of the two countries. He emphasised that his state visit is testament to India's continued commitment towards deepening India-Guyana friendship.
भारत भी गयाना के साथ हर क्षेत्र में कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलने के लिए तैयार है। 2 डेमोक्रेसीज के रूप में हमारा सहयोग केवल द्विपक्षीय संबंधों के लिए नहीं, बल्कि पूरे ग्लोबल साउथ के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the only fourth foreign leader to be conferred with the highest national award of Guyana. With this, the number of international honours for PM Modi has reached 18. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also received the Dominica Award of Honour, the highest national award of Dominica. The award handed by Dominica's President Sylvain Burton was presented in recognition of Prime Minister Modi's contributions to Dominica during the COVID-19 pandemic in his dedication to strengthening the partnership between the two countries. India supplied Dominica with 70,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine during the pandemic in February 2021. The award also recognizes India's support for Dominica in healthcare, education, information technology under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership.
ये सम्मान केवल मेरा नहीं है, बल्कि भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों का, उनके पुरुषार्थ का, उनके संस्कार का, उनकी परंपरा का यह सम्मान है। यह गहरे संतोष का विषय रहा है कि हम कोविड जैसी आपदा के समय डोमिनिका के लोगों की सहायता कर सके।
Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi co-chaired the second India CARICOM summit along with Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell of Grenada, the current chair of CARICOM. Prime Minister Modi thanked the President, Dr. Irfan Ali of Guyana, for hosting the summit. The summit saw participation from heads of government and foreign ministers of member states. To further strengthen the India-CARICOM partnership, Prime Minister Modi put forward a 7-pillar proposal for CARICOM, where C stands for capacity building, A stands for agriculture and food security, R stands for renewable energy and climate change, I stands for innovation, technology and trade, C stands for cricket and culture, and O stands for ocean economy and maritime security, and M stands for medicine and healthcare. Prime Minister Modi said that cricket is a big connecting link between India and Caribbean nations and proposed training of women cricketers of these nations.
क्रिकेट हमारे देशों के बीच एक बहुत बड़ा और महत्वपूर्ण कनेक्टिंग लिंक है। इस वर्ष आपके यहाँ हुए T20 वर्ल्ड कप से भारतीय क्रिकेट फैंस का कैरेबियन की ओर आकर्षण और भी बढ़ा है। और यह मैं सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं कह रहा हूं क्योंकि भारत ने यह विश्व कप जीता था। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि क्रिकेट संबंधों के साथ साथ महिला सशक्तिकरण को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हम कैरिकॉम के हर देश से 11 युवा महिला क्रिकेटर्स की भारत में ट्रेनिंग कर सकते हैं।
Prime Minister Modi gave a new definition to the CARICOM, focusing on capacity building, agriculture, food security, renewable energy, cricket and culture and medicine. Prime Minister Modi stressed that India has put a proposal of opening Jan Aushadhi Kendra in the Caribbean.
CARICOM देशों की स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा भारत के लिए उच्च प्राथमिकता का विषय रहा है। भारत में सामान्य मानवी को क्वालिटी एंड अफोर्डेबल हेल्थ केयर प्रदान करने के लिए जन औषधि केंद्र खोले हैं। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि हम इस मॉडल पर कैरिकॉम के सभी देशों में जन औषधि केंद्र खोल सकते हैं। भारत और सभी देशों के बीच फार्माकोपिया को मान्यता देने के लिए समझौता संपन्न किया जाए तो इस प्रयास को गति ला सकते हैं।
During the India CARICOM summit, Guyana President Dr. Irfan Ali thanked Prime Minister Modi for his selfless attributes during COVID times. He added that ties between India and the Caribbean are deeply rooted in shared history and enduring cultural connections.
Having collectively this occasion to meet you face to face for the first time since COVID, to thank you and the people of India for your selfless attributes when you delivered to this region our first set of vaccines during the COVID pandemic. Under your visionary leadership, India has an influential voice in the international community. Your launching of the Voice of the Global South, your recent chairmanship of the Group of 20, India's pivotal role in BRICS, and your steadfast advocacy for the developing world underscores your commitment to advancing the aspirations of the Global South. These initiatives have elevated India's stature and placed the concerns of developing nations, including the small island developing and low-lying coastal states of the Caribbean, firmly on the global agenda.
On to Southeast Asia now. India's Defence Minister Rajat Singh asserted that India stands for freedom of navigation and overflight, unimpeded lawful commerce and adherence to international law for peace and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. In his opening remarks at the ASEAN Defence Ministers Meeting Plus in Lao PDR, Mr. Singh said that comprehensive strategic partnership with ASEAN will lay the groundwork for India's partnership in future. He said in the days ahead, India looks forward to working with all ASEAN countries towards a stable, safer and more secure world for our future generations.
I am happy to be here on this important occasion of the 11th ADM Plus meeting. I am Rajat Singh, Defence Minister of India. I convey my congratulations for the presidency of Lao PDR.
On the sidelines of the event, Rajat Singh discussed defence cooperation with his counterparts from South Korea, New Zealand and Australia. The Indian Defence Minister also met US Secretary of Defence Lloyd Austin in Laos. Rajat Singh thanked him for his exemplary contribution towards strengthening India-US defence partnership. The Netherlands, a global leader in maritime innovation and sustainability, plays a crucial role in shaping global maritime policy. On the sidelines of the Sagar Manthan, the Great Oceans Dialogue, DD India's Jessica Taneja spoke with Bart de Jong, who led the Netherlands delegation, about the strategies that propel Dutch leadership, the success of its partnerships with India, and the potential for further collaboration on initiatives like the Sagar Mala.
We have with us Mr. Bart de Jong. He's the Special Advisor of International Relations to the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management of the Netherlands. Thank you for speaking to DD India and taking out time.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about the specific policies and technologies that have allowed your country's maritime sector to consistently stay at the forefront of innovation and also sustainability.
The Netherlands actually through history has had a very strong position in the maritime area. That is basically because our nation is deprived of natural resources. So we are very much an outward-looking trading nation, international trading nation. We're at the mouth of the River Rhine, and that is where a lot of transshipment happened, and that is what made the port of Rotterdam to what it is today, one of the biggest ports in the world, the biggest port in Europe. And around that Rotterdam port, an enormous maritime cluster grew. Maritime cluster consisting of at about 12,000 companies at the moment, ranging from shipping, shipbuilding, maritime research, education institute, maritime services like financial services, insurances, all that is there. That is what we are very much dependent on and what we need to maintain.
How does the Netherlands plan to balance its commitment in the Indo-Pacific security with its responsibilities in European waters, particularly with the current global security framework, especially in the Red Sea? How are the priorities being aligned or balanced in that sense?
It's very difficult to say, to speak about the Indo-Pacific as one, because there's conflicts of interest also within the Indo-Pacific. So we see, of course, tensions in the South Chinese Sea. That's one. There's totally different political systems. That's two. So it's very difficult to to say this is our Indo-Pacific strategy. If one thing is true, it is that we need to have a tailor-made approach for each country or group of countries. So we're talking to India, we're talking to ASEAN 5. They have a sort of a same common interest. So yeah, but we need to make, as Europe, also as the Netherlands, a tailor-made approach to each country in the Pacific.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. US regulators call for breakup of Google and Chrome in a major antitrust crackdown to end Google's search monopoly. And at the International Film Festival underway in Goa, Prasar Bharati launches its own OTT platform called Waves.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Indian women achieving significant success in the aviation sector were felicitated by the Ministry of Civil Aviation's Secretary V. Walnam on Thursday at the third edition of the iconic awards Giving Wings to Dreams 2024. 38 women were honoured from diverse fields of aviation under 9 categories, including airside operations, terminal operations and ground support. The minister ideated involving women into the drone sector as well.
We have got into a sort of a social project collecting women in aviations. Those who wish to join are most welcome to join, and it's our responsibility to give something back to the society. So this is the smallest thing which we can do.
On to the Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Ukraine's Air Force on Thursday claimed that Russia launched an intercontinental ballistic missile targeting enterprises and critical infrastructure in the central eastern city of Dnipro. The missiles damaged an industrial enterprise and set off fires in Dnipro and also injured 2 people. The missile was an RS-26 Rubze, a solid-fueled intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 5,800 kilometers. Russia also fired a Kinjal hypersonic missile and 7 Kh-101 cruise missiles, 6 of which were shot down by Ukraine. The launch comes as a response to Ukraine firing the US and British missiles into Russia this week. Ukraine fired a volley of UK Storm Shadow cruise missiles into Russia on Wednesday, the latest new Western weapon it has been permitted to use on Russian targets a day after it fired US long-range missiles. The Storm Shadows have a range in excess of 250 kilometers and would give Ukraine the ability to hit targets for far deeper into Russia than before. Moscow has said that the use of Western weapons to strike Russian territory far from the border would be a major escalation in the conflict. Kyiv says it needs the capability to defend itself by hitting Russian rare bases used to support Moscow's invasion, which entered its 1,000th day this week. Ever since the pandemic interrupted global supply chains, higher prices for almost all kinds of goods have been bothering consumers, and even though inflation has come down, it's still weighing heavy on many. Lars Wolter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin now. Lars, some new inflation numbers are out for Europe. What do they tell us?
Thanks for having me. Yes, interesting story here. We got a new report on producer prices, and it's giving some relief. The index points to a drop of 1.1% year over year, but that's not even an entirely new story. It's actually the 16th month in a row that we're seeing producer prices drop, and yet it's definitely worth having a closer look. First of all, we should understand that producer prices are the prices that producers of goods are paying before their products actually hit shelves. So we're talking about producers' energy costs, supply costs, raw materials and such. But it's important to look at that because usually lower prices there tend to carry over into lower prices for final products, and that is where the price tag hits the consumer. So a lower PPI, that is the producer price index, is usually an early indicator for a lower CPI, consumer prices that is.
And some factors outside energy are pointing to higher prices. What can you tell us about that, Lars?
Yeah, it's true. Some items are going up. One of them is all kinds of foods. They're up. There's a more than 2% rise year over the year on food-related items, and that is pretty much everything from wheat to meats to dairy products. Actually, here's one item that's really seeing an eye-popping price increase. That's butter. It's up more than 50% over last year, and that's a massive problem for producers in the food industry. And of course for consumers too. But it also illustrates how complex these price trends are and why they're not easy to control. Looking at butter as an example here, we're seeing a multitude of reasons for higher prices. In Germany now, as an example, over the past few years, the number of dairy cows in Germany has dropped from 4 million to 3 million. Now, this summer, the quality of some of their grass feed was insufficient, which leads to less fat content in the milk. So there's less milk fat in the market while demand remains high. High demand, low supply equals, of course, rising prices. So while we're seeing some positive trends with prices coming down, we're also seeing exceptions where producers and consumers have to shell out more.
Thank you, Lars, for all those updates. Moving on, the United States Department of Justice has proposed that Google must sell its Chrome browser, share data and search results with rivals, and take other measures to end its monopoly on online search. The proposal includes ending exclusive agreements in which Google pays billions of dollars annually to Apple and other device vendors to make its search engine the default on their tablets and smartphones. Google called the proposal staggering, warning that they could harm innovation and US competitiveness. As Google prepares its counter-proposals for December, the stage is set for an April trial that could reshape the tech landscape. Spokesperson of the US Department of State Matthew Miller has said that the United States wants to see the human rights of the Bangladeshi people being upheld in a regular briefing in Washington on Wednesday. He added that US's position with respect to human rights in Bangladesh is the same under his interim government as it was under the previous government. However, he refused to comment on the interim government in Bangladesh, which is considering removal of secularism from their constitution, which would significantly impact the country's democratic framework and the rights of minorities. Back to India. India's public service broadcaster Prasar Bharati has launched its own OTT platform Waves, offering a broad spectrum of entertainment and news content. The app is now available for download on Android and iOS devices. The platform aims to cater to a wide audience with its mix of live channels, movies, TV shows, games and live events. Did India's Deepika got a chance to speak exclusively with the participants of the Creative Minds of Tomorrow, who described animation as the key pillar of new media.
The film challenge at the Film Bazar has begun, and we have with us Sneha from Kolkata and Parth from Pune, who are one of the competitors here. Sneha, tell us about your experience and how are you looking at this particular challenge at Film Bazar?
I'm working as an animator on my team, and since it's AI based this time, there's a little more scope of animation. So yeah, we're trying to just creatively put in our skills wherever we can. bring our expertise in. Yeah.
When we talk about this is a time-bound challenge, I think 48 hours challenge. How do you look at this challenge?
I think like having a restriction also helps kind of like bring out like a little extra creativity, because like this is your budget and this is your time and you just like go and you're doing it with new people, so that awkwardness goes away because you're just trying to finish your work. I think it'll produce something great. Yeah.
Animation per se has seen a revolution in India, and the government organizing such a festival and inviting animators, young minds to participate in this sort of event.
Government, like they've realized that, and at the moment this has given us a big opportunity as animators, because we get to show our talent, and then we get to introduce new people to what animation is and what its capabilities are. So yeah, I think it's a good initiative by the government, and I hope they continue this.
Participation of women in great numbers is itself very appreciating. How do you see this changing times when we motivate the women to come forward and participate in such sort of events which are still very niche?
So yeah, we're just hoping to see more funding for women and animators to kind of like help us jump back into the level playing field that the men have got previously. So we're hoping for more funding opportunities from the government in whichever way they could.
So there you heard Sneha and Parth, the young minds who are coming from different parts of the country, participating in this mega and prestigious event and aiming for the best with the rest of the world. With camera person Alok, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Goa.
And the 46th edition of the 9-day festival Des Three Continents is underway in Nantes, France since 15th of November. The festival was inaugurated in the presence of Indian Ambassador to France, Javed Ashraf. The festival is celebrating Indian cinema with a special tribute to the legendary Raj Kapoor on his 100th birth anniversary. The spotlight is also on Indian actress whose 50-year career is being celebrated there, Prasar Bharati Samman awardee and knighted Kathak dancer Dr. Malini Ranganathan, who is collaborating with the festival as a representative of India in Nantes, France, spoke to actress Shabana Azmi.
I love the fact that it is a place of cineasts, of people who really love cinema, and they're wanting to learn about cinema that's outside the Bollywood. No, outside the Bollywood and also outside American cinema. And I think there's a real place for that. I appreciate that very much. And I think it's a big honor for me, thank you, that in my 50th year, they're holding this huge retrospective. And I'm very happy to be here.
That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can download our DD India mobile app. The app is available on Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.